Assort.
Assort.
To arrange or order by classes or categories.
How would you assort this species?
Assuage.
Assuage.
To make an unpleasant feeling or situation become less strong.
Nothing could assuage her guilt, so finally she admitted committing the crime.
Assume.
Assume.
To accept something as true without verification or proof.
Let's assume that what he is saying is true.
Assume.
Assume.
To take on a certain form, feature, etc.
He assumed strange manners.
Assure.
Assure.
To make something certain.
Preparation will assure success.
Assure.
Assure.
To make certain, ensure.
He assured this new client in case of a sudden death.
Assure.
Assure.
To tell someone that something is definitely true.
He assured her that the check would be sent immediately.
Astonish.
Astonish.
To fill someone with surprise or shock.
His sudden decision to leave the country completely astonished me.
Astound.
Astound.
To make someone very surprised or shocked.
Your ability to speak so many languages astounds me.
Atone.
Atone.
To do something in order to show that you are sorry for something you have done.
He wanted to atone for his wrongdoings.
Atrophy.
Atrophy.
Of a part of the body, to decrease in size or strength.
Muscles that are not used will atrophy.
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 To become weaker or degenerate.
This local cult might atrophy in the nearest future.
Attach.
Attach.
To add a file to an email.
You can find more information and files attached to this email.
Attach.
Attach.
To add, join or fasten one thing to another.
She attached a photo to her application.
Attack.
Attack.
To use violence against someone or to criticize someone strongly.
The mugger attacked the woman.
Attain.
Attain.
To gain something with effort.
I attained my goal despite all the setbacks.
Attain.
Attain.
To reach a certain point in space or time or a certain value, state, level.
I can't attain my ideal weight.
Attempt.
Attempt.
To make an effort to do something, usually something difficult.
They attempted to escape but were caught.
Attend.
Attend.
To be present at a meeting, university, church, etc.
She attends class regularly.
Attenuate.
Attenuate.
To make bacteria or viruses become less virulent.
The vaccine contains a form of the virus that has previously been attenuated.
Attenuate.
Attenuate.
To make someone become or look thin.
The black dress attenuated her figure.
Attenuate.
Attenuate.
To make something decrease in strength.
The gamma radiation is strongly attenuated by the thick layer of this material.
Attest.
Attest.
To give evidence that something is true.
He attested the signature.
Attract.
Attract.
To make something or someone move nearer them by the qualities they have.
This pianist attracts huge crowds.
Attribute.
Attribute.
To think or say that something or someone has a specific feature.
This sentence is attributed to Shakespeare.
Attune.
Attune.
To adjust or accustom to someone or something.
The mankind will have to attune to the demands of nature.
Audit.
Audit.
To attend academic courses without getting credit.
I'm planning to audit a course on nomadic peoples in Asia.
Audit.
Audit.
To carry out an official examination of the accounts of a company.
Our company was audited last year.
Audition.
Audition.
To give a short performance in order to prove you are suitable for a particular play, show.
She auditioned for a role on Broadway.
Augment.
Augment.
In music, to increase a note's value.
A dot put after a note augments its value by half.
Augment.
Augment.
To make something be greater in value, amount, extent, etc.
She took an additional job to augment her income.
Authenticate.
Authenticate.
To prove that something is true, real or is not fake.
They used DNA tests to authenticate the claim that the victims were related.
Authorize.
Authorize.
To give official permission for a certain thing.
This decision needs to be authorized.
Avail.
Avail.
To use to one's advantage.
He availed himself of every opportunity.
Avenge.
Avenge.
To punish or harm someone because of something bad they have done to you.
He wants to avenge the murder of his brother.
Aver.
Aver.
To say something firmly because you are convinced it is true.
She's innocent, I tell you, he averred.
Avert.
Avert.
To prevent something bad or unpleasant from taking place.
The tragedy could have been averted if the school had had a security system.
Avert.
Avert.
To try not to think about something.
We tried to avert our thoughts from our problems and have fun.
Avert.
Avert.
To turn away one's eyes.
He averted his eyes as she changed.
Avoid.
Avoid.
To keep away from someone or something.
Her former friends avoid her now.
Avouch.
Avouch.
To say you are sure that something is true or someone is worth trusting.
She avouched in court that he was innocent.
Avow.
Avow.
To admit or state something publicly.
He avowed his commitment to Islam.
Await.
Await.
To wait for someone to come or something to happen.
We were awaiting our relatives at the station.
Awake.
Awake.
To stop sleeping or to make someone stop sleeping.
He awoke to the sound of the alarm clock.
Award.
Award.
To give money or a prize to someone after an official decision.
She was awarded the title Business Person of the Year.
Awe.
Awe.
To fill someone with a feeling of great respect and admiration.
His sculptures truly awed and amazed the public.
Babble.
Babble.
To utter meaningless sounds, like a baby, or utter in an incoherent way.
Peter had no idea what Anne was babbling on about.
Babysit.
Babysit.
To take care of children while the parents are not at home.
My parents went out for the evening and left me to babysit my little brother.
Back.
Back.
To give someone or something one's support.
Whatever I do, my friends always back me.
Backbite.
Backbite.
To say mean things about somebody.
If you have something to say it to my face and stop backbiting me.
Badger.
Badger.
To ask someone repeatedly to do something.
Don't badger me. I don't have time for this.
Baffle.
Baffle.
To cause somebody to be very surprised and not understand something.
I was baffled to hear that they were getting married. I thought they weren't together anymore.
Baffle.
Baffle.
To hinder or prevent something.
Bad weather baffled my weekend plans.
Bait.
Bait.
To make someone angry by criticizing them.
Stop baiting him with your stupid questions or he'll get angry.
Bait.
Bait.
To put something, for example a worm, on a hook in order to lure and catch a fish.
What do you bait your fishing rod with?
Bake.
Bake.
To cook using dry heat in an oven.
You must bake the cake at 150 degrees for 45 minutes.
Balance.
Balance.
To bring to the state of balance and equilibrium.
I have to balance the time I spend working and the one I spend relaxing.
Balk.
Balk.
To be unwilling to do something unpleasant.
The English players balked at going to Zimbabwe.
Bamboozle.
Bamboozle.
To deceive, trick, or confuse someone.
I bamboozled Jane into telling me her credit card number.
Ban.
Ban.
To forbid doing something.
The film was banned due to its content.
Bandage.
Bandage.
To put a bandage on a wound.
You should bandage that nasty cut.
Bang.
Bang.
To make a loud noise with something.
Don't bang the door when you leave.
Bang.
Bang.
To strike something violently.
She banged against the door trying to get out.
Banish.
Banish.
To send someone away from their home or country.
For killing Tybalt, Romeo was banished from Verona.
Bank.
Bank.
To keep at a bank.
I have always banked my money with the Royal Bank.
Bankrupt.
Bankrupt.
To make someone financially ruined.
My habit of drinking and gambling will bankrupt me soon.
Banter.
Banter.
To tease somebody in a playful, good-humored way.
Do not try to banter with him, he has no sense of humor.
Barbecue.
Barbecue.
To cook food outdoors on a barbecue grill.
After the rain stopped, we barbecued the chicken.
Bargain.
Bargain.
To negotiate the terms of an agreement in order to get a lower price.
Bargain with him, you will get a better deal.
Barge.
Barge.
To push one's way.
Charlie just barged through the door and headed straight for Janice.
Bark.
Bark.
Of a dog, to make a sound.
Why is your dog barking so loudly?
Bark.
Bark.
To speak in an unfriendly tone.
Jane, stop barking at me.
Barricade.
Barricade.
To make something impossible to be passed or accessed.
He barricaded the door with furniture so that no one could enter.
Barter.
Barter.
To exchange goods without using money.
Before inventing money, people had to barter.
Base.
Base.
To form or make using something else as the starting point.
The film was based on a book.
Bask.
Bask.
To lie in pleasant warmth.
I like looking at my cat basking in the sun.
Bask.
Bask.
To take pleasure in something.
I will be basking in glory when we win and everyone else is disappointed.
Baste.
Baste.
To cover food with liquid before cooking.
Bake for 1 hour, then remove the bacon and baste the turkey with the cooking juices.
Baste.
Baste.
To sew something together loosely, with large stitches.
Baste the potatoes occasionally.
Baste.
Baste.
To strike violently and repeatedly.
Peter basted the man who tried to mug him.
Bath.
Bath.
To wash someone in a tub.
I bath my baby every night.
Bathe.
Bathe.
To swim in the sea, a pool, etc.
I love summer most for the possibility to bathe in the sea.
Bathe.
Bathe.
To wash yourself or someone in a bath.
At first I didn't even know how to bathe my baby. I was afraid that she would drown in a bath.
Batten.
Batten.
To secure or furnish something with a long board.
We batten the boxes before the journey.
Batter.
Batter.
To strike someone or something violently and repeatedly.
A man battered his wife to death with a heavy hammer.
Balk.
Balk.
Of a horse, to refuse to go forward.
My horse balked at the fence and I had to take the other route.
Balk.
Balk.
To hesitate and not to want to do or try something.
I balked at the prospect of marrying John.
Balk.
Balk.
To stop somebody or something from achieving their goals.
Jane balked me in learning.
Bawl.
Bawl.
To shout loudly.
Don't bawl, everyone on the bus can hear you.
Bawl.
Bawl.
To shout loudly and without restraint.
Shut up, my sister bawled.
Be.
Be.
To exist.
How old are you?
Beam.
Beam.
To smile happily.
After she had kissed him, he just sat there beaming.
Bear.
Bear.
To accept responsibility for something.
She bears the responsibility for our marital problems.
Bear.
Bear.
To be forced to feel something unpleasant or to have contact with somebody unpleasant.
I can't bear the stresses of modern life.
Bear.
Bear.
To keep something in mind, remember or take into account.
She bears a grudge against me.
Bear.
Bear.
To move while holding up or supporting.
The sound of siren was borne across the lake.
Beat.
Beat.
To defeat or be superior to something or someone.
My team beat their opponents.
Beat.
Beat.
To strike repeatedly.
Some parents beat their children.
Beatify.
Beatify.
In the Roman Catholic Church, to declare a dead person to be blessed.
Many people initially beatified are later canonized.
Beckon.
Beckon.
To appear attractive.
I must admit that the glamour of big cities such as Paris beckons.
Beckon.
Beckon.
To invite somebody to come with a gesture of the hand.
She beckoned to her friends.
Become.
Become.
To start to be.
He became the president at the age of 45.
Bedeck.
Bedeck.
To cover something with decorations.
Bedeck the walls with those ornaments, please.
Bedizen.
Bedizen.
To dress up garishly and tastelessly.
Anne bedizened herself to impress Peter.
Bedraggle.
Bedraggle.
To make wet and dirty, as from rain.
She bedraggled her shoes and trousers in mud.
Beg.
Beg.
To ask for something anxiously and eagerly.
I begged her not to resign, but she would not listen.
Beg.
Beg.
To ask other people for food or money because you are poor.
He just stood there begging for food.
Beget.
Beget.
To cause.
Crime begets crime.
Beget.
Beget.
To make children.
Abraham begot Isaac.
Begin.
Begin.
To bring into existence or start to exist.
What time does the film begin?
Begrudge.
Begrudge.
To feel angry or jealous because someone has something that you do not have.
I certainly do not begrudge him his position.
Begrudge.
Begrudge.
To give or pay unwillingly.
I begrudged paying so much for a simple sweater.
Beguile.
Beguile.
To deceive somebody.
Their courtesy beguiled me into accepting their terms.
Beguile.
Beguile.
To have a good time.
She beguiled the long hours of the journey by singing.
Beguile.
Beguile.
To take away something from someone by or as if by cunning.
I was beguiled of my youth by a heart disease.
Behave.
Behave.
To act in a particular manner.
He always behaves in a professional manner.
Behave.
Behave.
To act properly, as expected.
You would better behave when we are out.
Behold.
Behold.
To watch with attention or to see.
It was an incredible view to behold.
behave,
behave,
to be appropriate or necessary,
it behoves a young girl to wear pink dresses,
belabour,
belabour,
to hit something hard,
in a fit of madness she belabored him with her fists,
belabour,
belabour,
to talk about something far too much,
stop belaboring the obvious and get to the point,
belabour,
belabour,
to work at something attentively,
what are the students belaboring at this week?
belch,
Belch,
to expel gas from the stomach via the mouth,
in China it is polite to belch at the table,
beleaguer,
beleaguer,
to annoy persistently,
the children beleaguered the boy because of his obesity,
belie,
belie,
to be in contradiction with something or show something to be false,
Iraq death rate belies U.S. claims of success,
believe,
believe,
to accept as real or true,
do you believe in ghosts?
belittle,
Belittle,
to cause someone or something to look less serious,
we should never belittle or condemn other religions,
bellow,
bellow,
to shout in a loud deep voice,
officers do not ask politely, they bellow their orders,
bellyache,
bellyache,
to complain about something,
I think that she's ridiculous when she's bellyaching about her husband as he's a great guy,
belong,
belong,
to be a member of or the property of,
this book belongs to me,
bemoan,
bemoan,
to overtly express regret over something,
he never bemoaned the loss of his wealth,
bend,
bend,
to move or press something so that it is curved,
the girl bent under her heavy school bag,
benefit,
benefit,
to gain advantage thanks to something,
I think he can only benefit from that investment,
bequeath,
bequeath,
to leave or give something by will after one's death,
my aunt bequeathed me all her jewelry,
berate,
berate,
to speak angrily to someone,
He berated me for asking too many questions about what was wrong with the car.
Bereave.
Brave.
To deprive through death.
Her death bereaved us of a loving mother.
Birth.
Birth.
To secure an oar as if in a dock or come into or a dock at a wharf.
The ship berthed at Rotterdam.
Beseech.
Besiege.
To request something in an anxious way.
Julie besought the blackmailer not to tell the truth to her husband.
Beset.
Beset.
To annoy somebody continually.
That horrid dream besets me even when I'm awake.
Beset.
Beset.
To assail or attack on all sides.
He is known to beset his staff when he is overworked.
Besiege.
Besiege.
To harass somebody with questions or requests.
After her great success, she was besieged with interview requests.
Besiege.
Besiege.
To surround somebody so as to force to give up.
The enemy forces besieged us and forced us to give up.
Besmirch.
Besmirch.
To smear so as to make dirty or stained.
She got all besmirched in chocolate.
Besmirch.
Besmirch.
To spoil someone's good reputation.
My former boss besmirched my name so that no agency would hire me.
Bespeak.
Bespeak.
To be a signal for or a symptom of something.
His testimony bespeaks his willingness to cooperate.
Bestow.
Bestow.
To deposit something for safekeeping or to place something somewhere.
The goods are bestowed in a warehouse.
Bestow.
Bestow.
To give someone something precious.
The Queen has bestowed a knighthood on him.
Bestow.
Bestow.
To pay attention to something or someone.
He bestowed his attention on her speech.
Bet.
Bet.
To risk your money on a race, gambling, when the outcome is uncertain.
He always spends Saturday afternoons betting on horses.
Betoken.
Betoken.
To be a signal for or a symptom of something.
The heart is a universal symbol that betokens life force and love.
Betray.
Betray.
To deliver someone to the enemy.
The king's men betrayed him and he was murdered.
Betray.
Betray.
To disappoint someone.
His children betrayed him in the crisis.
Betray.
Betray.
To reveal something without intending it.
Her red face betrayed her nervousness.
Betroth.
Betroth.
To promise to marry or give in marriage.
My dad betrothed me to Michael.
Better.
Better.
To make something higher in quality or to become higher in quality.
We bettered our previous high score by 20%.
Bewilder.
Bewilder.
To confuse somebody.
He was bewildered by his daughter's reaction.
Bias.
Bias.
To influence somebody or something in an unfair way.
This film biased me against the rest of his films.
Bicker.
Bicker.
To quarrel over unimportant matters.
I wish you two would stop bickering.
Bed.
Bid.
To offer a particular price for something, or to try to attain something.
He bid £100 for that old portrait.
Bifurcate.
Bifurcate.
To split or divide into two.
I picked a flower from the point where the stream bifurcates.
Bilk.
Bilk.
To cheat someone, especially by not paying what was due.
They got arrested for bilking the investors.
Billow.
Billow.
To rise up as if in waves.
There was smoke billowing out of the windows.
Bind.
Bind.
To make an emotional bond and make people united.
That journey really bound us together as a family.
Bind.
Bind.
To tie or fasten in order to hold things firmly together.
I think we should bind him, otherwise he might want to escape.
Bite.
Bite.
To cut or catch something with your teeth.
A cat bit me last night, can you believe it?
Blab.
Blab.
To divulge confidential information or secrets, or to speak rapidly and incessantly.
Don't go blabbing to our parents about this.
Blackmail.
Blackmail.
To exert emotional pressure on somebody.
Jane refused to be blackmailed into marrying Peter.
Blackmail.
Blackmail.
To obtain money by threatening to reveal some unpleasant facts.
He makes his living blackmailing other people.
Blame.
Blame.
To consider someone responsible for something bad.
It's not my fault this time, don't blame me.
Blanch.
Blanch.
To cook briefly.
Blanch the beans before freezing them.
Blanch.
Blanch.
To make something colorless or less colored.
I have to blanch my sheets.
Blanch.
Blanch.
To turn pale.
Jane visibly blanched when she heard the news.
Blare.
Blare.
To make a loud noise.
The horns of the taxis blared.
Blast.
Blast.
To use explosives on something.
A massive explosion blasted the building, leaving 3 people injured.
Blaze.
Blaze.
To burn brightly and intensely.
The lack of rain and the summer sun caused trees to blaze.
Blazon.
Blazon.
To write something on something else so that it is very noticeable.
T-shirts blazoned with the team's name.
Bleach.
Bleach.
To make something whiter or to remove a stain from something.
You'll have to bleach this shirt, otherwise the stain will remain.
Bleat.
Bleat.
To complain in an irritating way.
Stop bleeding and start eating your dinner.
Bleat.
Bleat.
To make a sound like a sheep or goat.
The shepherd's hut must be near, I can already hear his animals bleating.
Bleed.
Bleed.
To lose blood as a result of an injury.
John, you are bleeding heavily, I am taking you to the hospital right now.
Blemish.
Blemish.
To spoil the appearance of something.
I regret having tattoos, they only blemish my body.
Blench.
Blench.
To move back with fear or disgust.
She blenched immediately as she entered the dark room as she saw a shadow by the window.
Blend.
Blend.
To combine and mix things so that they become one.
If you want to make a smooth cocktail, you will have to blend all the ingredients together.
Bless.
Bless.
To be helped and protected by God.
God bless you for your help and kindness.
Bless.
Bless.
To praise and glorify someone.
Blessed be the name of the Lord.
Blight.
Blight.
To spoil something.
My drinking problem blighted our marriage.
Blink.
Blink.
To shut one's eyes for a moment.
You always blink when you are lying.
Block.
Block.
To prevent movement.
Get out of the way, don't block it.
Blockade.
Blockade.
To prevent the progress or accomplishment of something.
The tanks blockaded all the passages.
Bloom.
Bloom.
Of a plant, to produce flowers.
Is my lavender ever going to bloom? It's still green instead of purple.
Blossom.
Blossom.
Of a plant, to start having flowers.
This old tree doesn't blossom anymore.
Blot.
Blot.
To dry something with paper.
She gently blotted the lips with a tissue after she had applied the lipstick to remove any excess.
Blotch.
Blotch.
To cover something with spots.
She looked exhausted and her face was blotched with tears.
Blow.
Blow.
To cause the air to move.
Outside the window she could hear a strong wind blowing.
Blow.
Blow.
To lose or miss something because of being careless or doing something wrong.
I'll give you another chance, but this time don't blow it.
Blubber.
Blubber.
To cry in an annoying way.
Stop blubbering, it's all your fault.
Bludgeon.
Bludgeon.
To hit somebody repeatedly with something heavy.
The police bludgeoned and arrested the thief.
Blue pencil.
Blue pencil.
To edit, cut or eliminate.
The editor blue penciled my novel.
Bluff.
Bluff.
To deceive someone by making them think you will do something that you do not actually intend to do.
I told you he was bluffing, he wouldn't have enough courage to tell her.
Blunder.
Blunder.
To make a stupid mistake when doing something.
I have completely blundered this thing and want to start over.
Blunt.
Blunt.
To make something less sharp.
Don't try to cut wood with this knife, you'll only blunt it.
Blur.
Blur.
To make less distinct or clear.
The fog blurred the clear vision so I couldn't drive.
Blush.
Blush?
To become red in the face, usually from embarrassment.
She keeps blushing whenever I ask her about John.
Bluster.
Bluster.
To speak in a noisy and boastful way.
You're wrong, Anne blustered suddenly, when we questioned her boyfriend's honesty.
Boast.
Boast.
To express one's pride about something.
What he boasts about are his management skills.
Boast.
Boast.
To have and be proud of.
Our city boasts over 80 parks and green spaces.
Bode.
Bode.
To indicate by signs.
These signs bode bad news.
Boggle.
Boggle.
To startle with amazement or fear, or to overcome with amazement.
This situation boggles the mind.
Boil.
Boil.
To cook in boiling water.
Water boils at 100 degrees.
Bolster.
Bolster.
To support.
Do you bolster your children's self-esteem or promote selfishness?
Bolt.
Bolt.
To lock a door or window with a metal bar.
He forgot to bolt the barn door and the
Abandon.
Abandon.
To leave something or someone forever.
We had to abandon the old car.
Abandon.
Abandon.
To stop maintaining, supporting or insisting on ideas, plans or claims.
Eventually, he abandoned the plan to set up his own business.
Abase.
Abase.
To behave in a way showing you accept that another person has complete power over you.
He abased himself and did what he had been ordered to do.
Abash.
Abash.
To cause someone to be embarrassed or self-conscious.
The man abashed her by noticing her shyness.
Abash.
Abash.
To make someone feel ashamed.
He abashed her by asking questions concerning her private life.
Abate.
Abate.
To become or to make something less active and intense.
The wind abated.
Abate.
Abate.
To deduct from an amount, to subtract.
He couldn't abate the very simple amounts, so he was no good for accounting.
Abbreviate.
Abbreviate.
To make a word or expression shorter by including only some letters.
The United States is often abbreviated to the U.S.
Abdicate.
Abdicate.
Of a king or queen, to officially give up one's position.
The king was forced to abdicate the throne after he had married a divorcee.
Abdicate.
Abdicate.
To give up power or duties and obligations.
The king abdicated when he married a divorcee.
Abduct.
Abduct.
To take someone away using force.
The Prime Minister's son was abducted by terrorists last night.
Abet.
Abet.
To assist or encourage, usually in some wrongdoing.
We suspect he aided and abetted her in the fraud.
Abet.
Abet.
To encourage or help someone to commit a crime.
The accountant was accused of aiding and abetting her boss in the fraud.
Abhor.
Abhor.
To find a way of thinking, behavior, etc. repugnant.
She abhors violence of any kind.
Abhor.
Abhor.
To hate a particular way of thinking or behaving.
I abhor all forms of discrimination. I think we should fight it.
Abide.
Abide.
To live or stay in a particular place.
They abode just outside the town.
Abide.
Abide.
To tolerate something or someone unpleasant.
I can't abide him, he's so annoying.
Abjure.
Abjure.
To formally reject or disavow a formerly held belief, usually under pressure.
She abjured her beliefs when all of her family members died in a car crash.
Abolish.
Abolish.
To officially make a law or regulation no longer be in force.
Slavery was abolished in the mid-19th century in America.
Abominate.
Abominate.
To find someone or something repugnant.
She abominates housework and tries to avoid it when possible.
Abominate.
Abominate.
To hate something strongly.
Sarah abominated that man after he had run her little dog over.
Abort.
Abort.
To end some activity before it is complete.
The mission had to be aborted because it was too dangerous.
Abort.
Abort.
To terminate a pregnancy when the baby is too young to live.
The doctors decided to abort the fetus in order to save the mother.
Abound.
Abound.
To contain large quantities of something.
The forests abound with deer and boar.
Abound.
Abound.
To exist in large quantities.
Theories abound about how to prevent cancer.
Abrade.
Abrade.
To wear something away by friction.
The river gradually abrades the banks.
Abridge.
Abridge.
To lessen, diminish, or curtail something.
The new law might abridge our freedom of expression.
Abridge.
Abridge.
To make a book or other piece of writing shorter while keeping the most important elements.
The manuscript must be abridged.
Abrogate.
Abrogate.
To officially end a law, agreement, etc.
The treaty was abrogated after 15 years.
Abrogate.
Abrogate.
To revoke something formally.
This law was widely criticized and eventually abrogated.
Abscond.
Abscond.
To escape from a place where you have been kept, or to secretly leave a place.
The thief absconded with our silver.
Absent.
Absent.
To leave a particular place or fail to be in a place where one is expected to be.
She absented herself from the meeting due to a headache.
Absolve.
Absolve.
To officially free someone from guilt or responsibility.
The priest absolved her from her sins.
Absorb.
Absorb.
To receive much information and understand it.
I can't absorb so much information at once.
Absorb.
Absorb.
To take in liquid, gas, energy, light, etc.
This sponge absorbs water well.
Abstain.
Abstain.
To decide not to vote either for or against something.
There is a consensus that we should abstain.
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 To not do something enjoyable, as drinking alcohol or having sex.
He abstains from alcohol for religious reasons.
Abstract.
Abstract.
To consider something apart from a particular case or instance.
Let's abstract away from this particular example.
Abstract.
Abstract.
To write a summary of or summarize.
The article was abstracted in the Journal of Neuroscience.
Abuse.
Abuse.
To force sexual activity upon someone.
The worker claimed her boss had abused her.
Abuse.
Abuse.
To treat someone badly.
She is constantly abused by her mother.
Abuse.
Abuse.
To use offensive language to someone.
He racially abused a shop assistant who asked him for his ID.
Abuse.
Abuse.
To use something wrongly or excessively.
He tends to abuse alcohol.
Abut.
Abut.
To be next to another building or area of land.
England abuts on Scotland.
Accede.
Accede.
To agree to a certain demand or proposal.
We needed to accede to that request.
Accede.
Accede.
To take on duties or office.
Edward IV acceded to the throne in 1461.
Accelerate.
Accelerate.
To move or happen faster, to cause something to move or happen faster.
The car accelerated and hit a tree.
Accent.
Accent.
To put stress on a syllable, word, etc.
In Farsi you accent the last syllable of each word.
Accent.
Accent.
To stress or single something out as important.
He accented the fact that it had been their first performance.
Accentuate.
Accentuate.
To make a particular feature of something more noticeable.
The tight dress accentuated her thin waist.
Accentuate.
Accentuate.
To stress, single something out as important.
In his speech, he accentuated the need to improve relations between the two countries.
Accept.
Accept.
To agree to something or to receive something that someone offers you.
She accepted the gift.
Accept.
Accept.
To think something or someone is good enough.
The book was accepted for publication.
Access.
Access.
To obtain or retrieve information on a computer.
I can't access this file.
Acclaim.
Acclaim.
To clap one's hands or shout after a performance to indicate approval.
Their performance was wildly acclaimed by the audience.
Acclaim.
Acclaim.
To publicly praise or approve someone or something.
Her last novel was acclaimed by literary critics.
Accommodate.
Accommodate.
To provide a place to live or to have enough room for people or things.
We have booked a room to accommodate our guests.
Accompany.
Accompany.
To go or travel with someone, to happen at the same time as something.
The disease is usually accompanied by headache.
Accomplish.
Accomplish.
To finish something successfully, especially after putting a lot of effort into it.
After several months they managed to accomplish the task.
Accord.
Accord.
To agree or match with something.
The results accord with our theory.
Accord.
Accord.
To give someone or something special treatment, attention or respect.
We accord high priority to quality of our products.
Accost.
Accost.
To approach someone and speak to them in a threatening way.
She was accosted by 3 men that forced her to give them all her money.
Account.
Account.
To give or be a satisfactory explanation for something.
I can't account for the missing money.
Accouter.
Accouter.
To provide with military equipment.
Our army is well accoutred by the government.
Accredit.
Accredit.
To officially approve of someone or something.
The school was not accredited by the government to train licensed massage therapists.
Accrue.
Accrue.
To accumulate over a period of time.
Interest will accrue at a constant rate.
Accrue.
Accrue.
To gather something over a period of time.
I decided to use the holiday days I'd accrued.
Accumulate.
Accumulate.
To collect more and more things or to gradually grow in number over a period of time.
The work keeps accumulating.
Accuse.
Accuse.
To say that someone has done something wrong or broken the law.
Don't accuse me, it wasn't my fault.
Accustom.
Accustom.
To get used to a certain situation.
I can't accustom myself to the new place.
Ache.
Ache.
To be the source of pain.
My head, stomach, tooth, aches.
Achieve.
Achieve.
To gain something with effort.
Thanks to her persistence she achieved her goal.
Acknowledge.
Acknowledge.
To admit or recognize the existence of something or to declare something is true.
You need to acknowledge her effort. She helped us a lot.
Acquaint.
Acquaint.
To become familiar with something or to get to know someone personally.
You need to acquaint yourself with our policies.
Acquaint.
Acquaint.
To find or give someone information about something.
The managers have to acquaint the workers with the new policy.
Acquiesce.
acquiesce,
To accept or agree to something, especially if one is not willing to.
the maestro acquiesced to the request for an encore.
Acquiesce.
Acquiesce,
To agree to something, especially unwillingly.
reluctantly, he acquiesced to his parents' request that he should move out.
Acquire.
Acquire,
To come into possession of something or to gain a certain feature, knowledge or experience.
she acquired a new painting.
Acquit.
Acquit,
To decide that someone is not guilty.
the suspect was acquitted of murder charges.
Act.
Act,
To do something, to behave in a certain way.
think before you act.
Act.
Act,
To perform in a play.
she wants to act Lady Macbeth, but she is too young for the role.
Activate.
Activate,
To make something as a chemical process or electrical system start working.
the alarm was activated by cigarette smoke.
Actuate.
Actuate,
To be the reason why a person behaves in a particular way.
when he sued his former employer, he was actuated by desire for revenge.
Actuate.
Actuate,
To make a machine start working.
the bomb may be actuated by heat.
Adapt.
Adapt,
To change something to suit a new purpose or to get used to a new situation.
we need to adapt our program to the new operating system.
Add.
Add,
To give more so as to increase in size, quantity.
please add more spices to the cake.
Addict.
Addict,
To make someone or oneself become unable to stop taking a particular substance.
he addicted himself to cocaine 3 years ago.
Addle.
Addle,
To confuse someone, preventing them from thinking clearly.
I think the heat has addled your brains.
Address.
Address,
To deal with.
I don't have the time to address this matter now.
Address.
Address,
To put an address on an envelope.
to whom did you address the letter?
Address.
Address,
To speak to someone.
Barack Obama addressed the crowd of 2,500 in Bangor.
Adduce.
Adduce,
To advance evidence for something.
none of the evidence adduced convinced me.
Adhere.
Adhere.
To be compatible with or to obey a rule, maintain a certain belief, idea.
You need to adhere to the rules.
Adhere.
Adhere.
To stick to something firmly.
In some places, the wallpaper didn't adhere to the wall.
Adjoin.
Adjoin.
To be next to something else, especially touching it.
Mexico adjoins the U.S.
Adjourn.
Adjourn.
To suspend a formal meeting or gathering.
The meeting was adjourned at 11.
Adjudicate.
Adjudicate.
To officially judge who is right in a disagreement.
The father adjudicated the son's dispute over their inheritance.
Adjure.
Adjure.
To ask or try to persuade someone to do something.
She adjured him to tell the truth.
Adjust.
Adjust.
To change something or regulate to make it more accurate.
We must adjust to the bad economic situation.
Ad-lib.
Ad-lib.
To say something with little or no preparation or forethought.
He never uses a script, he prefers to ad-lib.
Administer.
Administer.
To give a medicine.
This drug needs to be administered by a syringe.
Administer.
Administer.
To manage or control execution of something or to be in charge of it.
She administers the funds.
Admire.
Admire.
To feel respect towards someone and approve things they do.
I've always admired her for her patience.
Admit.
Admit.
To allow to enter some place, institution, group, etc.
We cannot admit non-members into this meeting.
Admit.
Admit.
To declare to be true or to agree that something is true or someone is right.
He admitted there were production problems.
Admonish.
Admonish.
To advise someone to do a particular thing.
My teacher admonishes me to study more for the exam.
Admonish.
Admonish.
To tell someone they have done something wrong in a severe way.
The boss admonished her for being late yesterday.
Adopt.
Adopt.
To accept something new or to officially approve some proposal, idea.
She adopted the Jewish faith.
Adopt.
Adopt.
To put into form of a movie, play, etc.
The book was adopted for a screenplay.
Adopt.
Adopt.
To take into one's family.
They decided to adopt a child.
Adopt.
Adopt.
To take on a certain form, attribute or aspect.
Her voice adopted a pleading tone.
Adore.
Adore.
To love someone very much or to like something very much.
He just adored his wife and never really recovered from her death.
Adore.
Adore.
To worship God or a god.
Let us adore God for His goodness.
Adorn.
Adorn.
To add something to a person or thing in order to make them look more attractive.
The church has been beautifully adorned for the wedding.
Adulterate.
Adulterate.
To illegally mix drink or food with a substance of lower quality, for example water.
They were accused of adulterating beer with water.
Adumbrate.
Adumbrate.
To describe something roughly or to give the main points of something.
This report adumbrates the project's objectives.
Advance.
Advance.
To move forward, also in the metaphorical sense, to develop.
We are advancing technology every day.
Advert.
Advert.
To make reference to something.
He adverted to that unfortunate event in his speech.
Advert.
Advert.
To turn one's attention to something.
We adverted to the issues at hand.
Advertise.
Advertise.
To make something known in public, especially because you want to sell it.
They are heavily advertising their new product.
Advise.
Advise.
To suggest someone what they should do in a particular situation.
I advised her about the regulations.
Advocate.
Advocate.
To officially support a certain idea.
He advocates the idea of higher taxes.
Aerate.
Aerate.
To put air or some other gas into a liquid or into a solid material.
You'll need to aerate water in the tank if you want your fish to stay alive.
Effect.
Effect.
To have an effect upon something.
Will the new rules affect me?
Affiliate.
Affiliate.
To establish the paternity of someone.
We need to affiliate the child to the father.
Affiliate.
Affiliate.
To join a larger group, especially about organizations, companies.
They affiliated with a national group.
Affirm.
Affirm.
To declare something as true.
The suspect affirmed that he spent all evening with his wife.
Affix.
Affix.
To attach to or add at the very end of something.
He affixed a glossary to the book.
Afflict.
Afflict.
To make someone or something suffer from a problem, illness or misfortune.
She was afflicted by the death of her parents.
Afford.
Afford.
To have enough money to buy or do something or to be able to give up something.
I can't afford to spend 2 hours with him.
Affront.
Affront.
To treat, mention, or speak to someone in a disrespectful way.
He affronted him by calling him an ignorant.
Agglomerate.
Agglomerate.
To form into one cluster.
The particles may agglomerate into larger units.
Aggravate.
Aggravate.
To make a situation or disease worse.
The drug didn't help, but it only aggravated the pain.
Aggravate.
Aggravate.
To make someone annoyed or angry.
What really aggravates me is that he never does what he's told to.
Aggregate.
Aggregate.
To gather in a mass, sum, or whole.
The information we collect about you is aggregated with data about other users.
Agitate.
Agitate.
To make someone feel nervous, upset or worried.
Any mention of the past problem still agitates her.
Agitate.
Agitate.
To publicly argue for a political or social change.
Teachers were agitating for higher pay.
Agitate.
Agitate.
To stir or shake a liquid quickly.
Agitate the mixture before taking a sample.
Agonize.
Agonize.
To spend time anxiously thinking about something, trying to make a decision.
He spent days agonizing about whether he should tell the truth.
Agree.
Agree.
To have the same opinion.
You're right, I agree with you.
Ail.
Ail.
To be ill or to cause someone to be ill.
What's ailing you? Is it your hip again?
Ail.
Ail.
To cause difficulties for someone or something.
The government needs a better understanding of what ails the educational system.
Aim.
Aim.
To intend or plan to achieve something.
We aim to increase turnover by 5% this year.
Aim.
Aim.
To point a weapon or other object at something you want to shoot, hit.
She aimed her gun at him but didn't shoot.
Air.
Air.
To broadcast something on radio or television.
Radio stations refuse to air this song because it's too obscene.
Air.
Air.
To open the windows and let fresh air into a room.
Let's air the flat, it's so hot here.
Air freight.
Air freight.
To transport goods by air.
Will you air freight my personal belongings?
Airmail.
Airmail.
To send a letter or package by aircraft.
I will airmail this letter as soon as possible.
Alert.
Alert.
To warn someone that something dangerous might happen.
We alerted the new neighbors to the high rate of burglaries.
Alienate.
Alienate.
To do something that makes someone stop supporting you.
She alienated her friends when she became fanatically religious.
Alienate.
Alienate.
To make it difficult for a person to belong to a group of people.
His traumatic experiences alienated him from the society.
Alienate.
Alienate.
To officially transfer property or ownership from one person to another.
The will alienated the property to the heirs.
Align.
Align.
To arrange two or more things so that they form a straight line.
Align the hinge on the door with the hinge on the frame.
Align.
Align.
To publicly support someone or something.
The trade unions aligned themselves with the opposition.
Allay.
Allay.
To lessen the intensity of or calm.
The news allayed my conscience.
Allege.
Allege.
To say that something is true or someone has done something without giving proof.
They allege that the police forced them to sign.
Alleviate.
Alleviate.
To give physical relief, as from pain or to make something less serious.
A new drug to alleviate the symptoms of pneumonia has been designed.
Alleviate.
Alleviate.
To make a thirst, hunger, desire etc. become weaker.
She gave him some lemonade to alleviate his thirst.
Allocate.
Allocate.
To give something to a certain person or to use something for a special purpose.
I'm allocating the rations for the trip.
allot,
allot,
to give a certain amount or share of something to someone or something.
each worker will be allotted a uniform.
Allow,
Allow,
to let someone do something.
I cannot allow you to see your exam.
Alloy,
Alloy,
to mix two or more metals together.
zinc is alloyed with copper in order to obtain brass.
Allude,
Allude,
to mention a person or thing in a way that is not obvious.
he alluded to the problem but didn't mention it directly.
Allure,
Allure,
to seem exciting, attractive or desirable to someone.
the book allures the reader with intriguing plot.
Ally,
Ally,
of a country, to agree to support another country, especially during a war.
during the Second World War, Hungary and Romania allied themselves with the Nazis.
Alter,
Alter,
to make something different or to become different.
the discussion has altered my thinking about that issue.
Alternate,
Alternate,
to happen one after another in a repeated pattern.
periods of good mood alternated with depression.
Amalgamate,
Amalgamate,
about organizations, to join and form a larger organization.
the two companies are expected to amalgamate soon.
Amalgamate,
Amalgamate,
to bring or combine two or more things together.
she amalgamated the data into one report.
Amass,
Amass,
to collect something or to gather together.
files keep amassing on my desk.
Amaze,
Amaze,
to make someone very surprised or shocked.
he amazed everyone by leaving the country all of a sudden.
Amble,
Amble,
to walk slowly in a relaxed manner.
they were ambling along the beach, listening to the sound of the Pacific waves.
Ambush,
Ambush,
to attack someone after hiding somewhere.
she was ambushed by gunmen on her way from work.
Ameliorate,
Ameliorate,
to make a bad situation better.
we have raised £200,000 to ameliorate the effects of famine.
Amend,
Amend,
to correct or slightly change a text, especially a legal document.
these regulations need to be amended.
Amortize,
Amortize,
to pay a debt in regular small amounts.
the debt was amortized over 5 years.
Amount.
Amount.
To be a particular sum.
Their debt amounted to £50,000.
Amplify.
Amplify.
Especially in music, to make a sound louder.
The guitar's hollow body amplifies the sound of the vibrating strings.
Amplify.
Amplify.
To give additional information about something one has said or written.
I'm not sure if I got it right. Could you amplify your suggestion?
Amplify.
Amplify.
To make the strength or effect of something greater.
The stories about plane crashes only amplified his fear.
Amputate.
Amputate.
To remove an arm, leg, finger or another body part surgically.
The finger had to be amputated due to infection.
Amuse.
Amuse.
To entertain someone or make them laugh.
The clown amused the children.
Analyze.
Analyze.
To examine something in detail in order to understand it or discover more about it.
The water samples will be analyzed for contamination.
Analyze.
Analyze.
To study something in detail in order to discover important features or meaning.
Today we are going to analyze one of the Shakespeare's sonnets.
Anchor.
Anchor.
To attach a person or thing to something in order to prevent them from moving.
Check if the shelf is securely anchored to the wall.
Anchor.
Anchor.
To lower a heavy metal object to the bottom of the sea.
3 ships were anchored in the harbor.
Angle.
Angle.
To aim a piece of information at a particular group of people.
She angled her column of chit-chat toward teenagers.
Angle.
Angle.
To move or place an object so that it is not straight.
She angled her chair towards the door so she could see who enters.
Angle.
Angle.
To try to get something without directly saying you want it.
He called me to ask how I was doing, but it was obvious he was angling for a job.
Animate.
Animate.
To fill something or someone with energy or happiness.
A smile animated her face for a second.
Annex.
Annex.
To take possession of an area of land, especially using force.
Denmark annexed Norway along with Faroe Islands.
Annihilate.
Annihilate.
To decide that something as a law is no longer valid.
Thanks to the protest of the working class, that law was annihilated.
Annihilate.
Annihilate.
To destroy something completely.
The city of Hiroshima was annihilated by an atomic bomb.
Annihilate.
Annihilate.
To easily defeat someone.
The naval force was annihilated during the attack.
Annotate.
Annotate.
To add explanatory notes to a piece of writing, especially a book.
This edition of Hamlet has been annotated so that understanding of the text is easier.
Announce.
Announce.
To make something known, especially by an official statement.
The president announced war.
Annoy.
Annoy.
To make someone slightly angry.
It annoys me that she never closes the door.
Annul.
Annul.
To officially state that a marriage, legal agreement no longer exists.
The contract was annulled.
Answer.
Answer.
To respond in words or actions.
Try to answer the following questions.
Antedate.
Antedate.
To cause something to happen sooner, to accelerate something.
The rainy weather antedated our departure.
Antedate.
Antedate.
To come from an earlier time than something else.
Stone tools antedate bronze tools.
Antedate.
Antedate.
To date a document as of an earlier time than that of actual execution.
They signed the contract in June but antedated it by a few months.
Anticipate.
Anticipate.
To do something before someone else does it, to deal with something ahead of time.
She tried to close the window but he anticipated her.
Anticipate.
Anticipate.
To think that something is likely to happen, to expect something.
The meteorologists are anticipating reduced rainfall.
Apologize.
Apologize.
To tell someone that you are sorry for doing a certain thing.
I apologize to her for my behavior.
Appall.
Appall.
To make a person extremely shocked or upset.
The tremendous state of the bathroom appalled her.
Appeal.
Appeal.
To be attractive to someone.
The idea of a vacation appeals to me.
Appeal.
Appeal.
To request something from somebody earnestly, to ask for aid or protection.
He appealed to them for help.
Appeal.
Appeal.
To take a court case to a higher court for review.
He was found guilty but appealed immediately.
Appear.
Appear.
To come into being or existence, To come into sight or view.
He suddenly appeared at the wedding.
Appease.
Appease.
To give someone what they want in order to make them less angry or stop attacking you.
It seems that the new law was only meant to appease the public.
Appease.
Appease.
To satisfy a need, desire, thirst or hunger.
His need for adventure couldn't be appeased.
Append.
Append.
To add to the very end of something in writing, a book, an article, etc.
He appended a glossary to the book.
Applaud.
Applaud.
To express approval of something, especially by clapping one's hands.
I applaud your efforts.
Apply.
Apply.
To put a substance on something.
She applied paint to the back of the house.
Apply.
Apply.
To use something for a particular purpose or in a particular situation.
Sometimes it is difficult to apply these ideas in practice.
Apply.
Apply.
To write a request for employment, admission to a school, etc.
She applied for college.
Appoint.
Appoint.
To assign a duty, responsibility or obligation to someone.
She was appointed team manager.
Appoint.
Appoint.
To decide at what time or in which place something should happen.
They appointed a day for the meeting.
Apportion.
Apportion.
To share something according to a plan or keep for a special purpose.
The costs were equally apportioned between us.
Appraise.
Appraise.
To examine something in order to judge how good or valuable something is.
The jewels were appraised by a professional.
Appreciate.
Appreciate.
To gain in value or to increase the value of something.
The yen appreciated again.
Appreciate.
Appreciate.
To recognize and acknowledge the value of something.
I really appreciate your help.
Apprehend.
Apprehend.
To anticipate something with dread or anxiety.
At that time, they apprehended invasion from France.
Apprehend.
Apprehend.
To catch and arrest someone who has broken the law.
The police apprehended the suspected criminals.
Apprehend.
Apprehend.
To get the meaning of something.
Do you apprehend the meaning of this letter?
Apprise.
Apprise.
To inform somebody of something.
The Prime Minister has been apprised of the situation.
Approach.
Approach.
To begin to deal with a certain problem, task, etc.
We are about to approach a new project.
Approach.
Approach.
To come near in space or time.
We are approaching our destination.
Appropriate.
Appropriate.
To set aside a sum of money for a particular purpose.
I will appropriate this money for your research.
Appropriate.
Appropriate.
To take something without the owner's permission.
He was fired because he appropriated some of the company's money.
Approve.
Approve.
To think that something is good or suitable for a certain purpose.
She doesn't approve of drinking alcohol.
Approximate.
Approximate.
To be close or similar.
Her results approximate my own.
Approximate.
Approximate.
To form an estimate.
We approximated the value to be close to 400.
Arbitrate.
Arbitrate.
To judge in an argument, especially if the opposed sides ask one to do so.
He arbitrated in the family dispute.
Arc.
Arc.
To move along a curved path.
He threw the stone which arced into the sky.
Arch.
Arch.
To form a curved shape.
The trees arched over the alley.
Archive.
Archive.
To store information, a document, book, etc.
All documents are archived so that they can be accessed later.
Argue.
Argue.
To disagree with someone, especially in an angry way.
The children could hear their parents arguing.
Argue.
Argue.
To present reasons for or against something.
The minister argued that costs must be reduced.
Arise.
Arise.
To begin to happen, especially about a problem or difficult situation.
A crisis has arisen in the government.
Arise.
Arise.
To result from a certain situation.
Many questions arose from this discussion.
Arouse.
Arouse.
To make someone become sexually excited.
The sight of her naked body aroused him.
Arouse.
Arouse.
To make someone have a particular feeling.
Her first novel aroused a lot of interest.
Arraign.
Arraign.
To call someone before a court to answer an indictment.
He was arraigned on the charge of murder.
Arrange.
Arrange.
To put into a correct or desired order.
He arranges his books on the shelves in alphabetical order.
Array.
Array.
To arrange soldiers in a position ready to fight.
The general arrayed his forces against attack from the north.
Array.
Array.
To arrange things in a particular order, especially to make them look attractive.
Hundreds of jars were neatly arrayed on the shop shelves.
Arrest.
Arrest.
To take someone to the police station because they might have committed a crime.
He was arrested for drug possession.
Arrive.
Arrive.
To reach a place at the end of a journey.
She arrived home at 7 o'clock.
Arrogate.
Arrogate.
To take or claim for oneself without right.
They arrogate to themselves the power to punish people without trial.
Articulate.
Articulate.
To clarify something or make it more distinctive.
She articulates this idea in the last chapter.
Articulate.
Articulate.
To pronounce something or express it in words.
The th sound may be difficult to articulate for English learners.
Ascend.
Ascend.
To become king or queen.
Elizabeth II ascended the throne after the death of her father.
Ascend.
Ascend.
To climb something or move to a higher position.
She had difficulty ascending the stairs because of her arthritis.
Ascend.
Ascend.
To move to a more important position.
She ascended to the throne after the king's death.
Ascertain.
Ascertain.
To make sure about something or to discover something.
We need to ascertain whether it is true.
Ascribe.
Ascribe.
To claim that a particular situation, event, person is the cause of something.
The report describes the rise in heart attacks to the increase in fast food consumption.
Ascribe.
Ascribe.
To claim that something or someone has a particular quality.
People have long ascribed healing qualities to this herb.
Ascribe.
Ascribe.
To claim that something was written, said or made by a particular person.
This quotation is often ascribed to Shakespeare.
Ask.
Ask.
To request somebody to do something.
I asked my mom for money for a present for Dad.
Ask.
Ask.
To try to get to know about something.
He had to ask directions several times.
Asphyxiate.
Asphyxiate.
To prevent someone from breathing in order to kill them.
The murderer used a pillow to asphyxiate the victim.
Aspire.
Aspire.
To have an ambitious plan or goal.
This area aspires to the status of nature reserve.
Assail.
Assail.
Of a strong smell or loud noise, to be experienced suddenly.
The smell of rotten eggs assailed our nostrils.
Assail.
Assail.
To attack someone physically or emotionally.
She was assailed by fears.
Assail.
Assail.
To make an impact or impinge on something.
Her mind was assailed by doubts.
Assail.
Assail.
To undertake something with determination.
She assailed her studies with ambition to be one of the best students.
Assassinate.
Assassinate.
To kill someone important.
The police have unearthed a plot to assassinate the Prime Minister.
Assault.
Assault.
To attack a person violently.
The mugger assaulted the woman.
Assay.
Assay.
To examine a substance in order to check its purity or composition.
The metal was assayed for its purity.
Assemble.
Assemble.
To get people or things in one place or to collect in one place.
We assembled in the conference room.
Assent.
Assent.
To agree or express agreement with something.
The singer assented to the request for an encore.
Assent.
Assent.
To give in or concede.
Finally he assented to their demands.
Assert.
Assert.
To declare that something is true.
She asserts that he robbed her.
Assert.
Assert.
To insist on having one's own opinions and rights recognized.
They asserted their rights to the land.
Assess.
Assess.
To evaluate or estimate the value, amount or importance of something.
Our house hasn't been assessed in years.
Asseverate.
Asseverate.
To state something categorically.
He asseverated that he had never seen that man.
Assign.
Assign.
To give money, property, rights, etc. to someone.
His property was assigned to his daughter.
Assign.
Assign.
To give someone a certain job or task.
I've been assigned the task of preparing invitations.
Assimilate.
Assimilate.
Of a sound, to become similar to an adjacent sound.
The nasal assimilates to the following consonant.
Assimilate.
Assimilate.
To become accepted as a member of a group of people.
Immigrants often want to assimilate quickly.
Assimilate.
Assimilate.
To compare or contrast things or people.
This goddess might be assimilated to the Greek goddess Hera.
Assimilate.
Assimilate.
To learn and understand new information.
I found it difficult to assimilate all that information.
Assist.
Assist.
To give help to someone.
Can you assist me with carrying the equipment?
Associate.
Associate.
To make a mental connection between things.
The brand isn't usually associated with high quality.
Associate.
Associate.
To spend one's time with someone.
He associates with strange people.